my 5-star, the Atlanta Falcons, +1 against Green Bay. All right. Green Bay, one of the things that we believe in when it comes to luck is 3rd and 4th down conversions. And if you look at Green Bay, but Green Bay was amazing on 3rd and, I don't even know if there was any 4s, but they were amazing, like shockingly good. Typically, that just, unless somehow Jordan Love is one of the handful of people every decade that is just better on 3rd down, I don't think that's true, then this game was deceiving. We know Fields how much of this was about Fields being so bad that it let Green Bay run, it let them, there was no, Fez, you always talk about the pressure on a team in the game or the strain. What was the strain on the Packers?
There was no strain. So
Non-existent.
The Packers were styling, and then Chicago, who can't throw, had to throw, and they threw a pick six, and the separation happened in a game that was close at halftime.
Yeah,
I mean, the Green Bay was, I would say, in control, but they were gonna win by 7 to 10 points, and then the turnovers at the end, extend the lead.
So if you just look at late downs, the 96th percentile of the last X years. And they didn't, it was 8 out of 10 is what the hitman says. He's actually got a pick on this game. I'm betting that doesn't continue, right? Because if so, we should be getting Green Bay to be a participant or, Green Bay make the playoffs. It was a good game. I just made a bet with you, not against you, Feds, but we made a bet on over Green Bay. I like Green Bay. That game I was wrong about the game. And they should have won. It wasn't like that was a lucky win at all. I'm saying the margin and how easy it looked felt lucky. And Atlanta, though they certainly did not play a great game, you could make the case even winning by 14. It was all turnovers. That was they should have.
Defense played very well.
They should have
Offense
won.
was workmanlike.
Yeah,
safe.
Yeah, but to me, Fez, and this is a standby. You look what it was a week ago. And except for injuries, and injuries can happen, you got to account for them. But this line was Atlanta favored by 1.5 last week. Now, what's happened since? There's been 2 games played.
Both look good.
Yeah. Now, let's be honest. Green Bay, even when this line opened up last week, they didn't even have injuries at the receiver yet, right? So that didn't happen until Wednesday. Remember?
Yeah.
This opened on Tuesday. So now, one of the receivers I'm hearing is out this week.
Watson.
Is he on the IR or the 4-week IR?
No.
But he's pretty much
out.
It hasn't been announced. He didn't play last week, and they're hoping that he's going to play this week.
Yeah, but they always say that. But
sure.
What I heard is they were really thinking of putting him on the 4-week.
Well, he did not practice.
And the running backs,
on
the
Wednesday.
strength of the offense were healthy, and now their best running back, Jones, is dinged up.
Yeah, so the best running back, say the name?
Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah. I'm just making it where we can hear it. Okay, so
whenever Fez says names, it's like he goes.
So to me, the injuries lean that way, and Atlanta got a lot of action in the offseason. Now, listen, Ritter didn't look great.
On the season wins, a lot of action.
Yeah, exactly. Ritter didn't look great, but again, another game. I don't know. I just know the line went from 1.5 to 1.5 the other way, right?
You're getting 1.
It's getting
Atlanta +1.
On the contest.
In the contest, yeah.
Why is that?
The Cornegay curse.
No. I'm serious. I didn't notice that. It's 1.7 right now, we're saying, and we're only getting 1?
It was 1.7 this morning. A little bit of Falcons money coming in today.
It's a solid one.
We should maybe make the Wednesday one right before the show. Because it's this is the 4th line that we say has changed today because of the injury report,
It's a solid 1.0. Everyone's painted 1 across the board.
Okay.
Mark it as 1.
So if we only recorded this pod 6 hours earlier, but I think the general point holds, though it's not as attractive by a smidge, right? Obviously. But that's about it. I was looking because I'm fascinated by this. Week 1. What I used to say about week 1 is it's only 1 game, but when it's 100% of the games, it means a lot. And I think in some cases I still believe that. But if you look at the data, if you take the line in the first game and you run a regression so you see how correlated it is to the net margin on the season. All right? So you don't even account, is it home or away? It's like, what's the line in game one? If you're -7, then you should have a good net correlation, or I'm sorry, net margin at the end of the year, which is points for, points against, so the Pythagorean approach. It's like 50% more predictive, the line, than the margin of victory the first week. All right, so let's give an example, right? So who was the biggest upset? Let's say Minnesota, right? The line says Minnesota's -6 last week, and the margin of victory said they lost the game, right? Is the line is going to be more correlated to how they do on the season than the victory or the way the game played. Now that's stunning. So it's really saying the priors are more important than the game.
Well, sure. I mean, I think that's. I don't think that's stunning. I mean, I would think that's a lot more predictive. I mean, the volatility. I mean,
but here's the point. Then it kind of makes overreacting to week one seem foolish. Then.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I guess
which is making your point here, because there has been an overreaction,
exactly.
and it'd be easy for a lot of naysayers to going to say, "Oh, what's RJ talking about? It's -1 versus +1. Who cares?" I like to think of it as a no vig money line. Okay. On a no vig money line, Atlanta was were they 1.5 or were they 1?
1.5 on the look ahead.
So they were like -113 on the look ahead, +113. I'm doing no vig lines.
Okay.
Now Atlanta is +107. So there's been a 20-cent move. So think about this. If this was a baseball game and team,
this is effectively from 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. It essentially moved on to on or off a 3. Perfect.
Yeah. To me, I never think, like, whenever I hear someone say that's not a key number, that's not, to me, that's how you figure out how much you're gaining from what you're doing or losing, but you can't ever dismiss it. We're battling for pennies.
And you're picking up not pennies, you're picking up almost a quarter here.
And I agree. And especially if we would have done this a few hours earlier. If someone was late, wouldn't that be, I guess Cornegate came out. So,
yeah.
All right.
This was the last cut from my card. I agree with you strongly on this one. I think just the idea that Green Bay is not going to be playing a high school defense this week is going to be a big change. Jordan Love only got hurried twice last week. No wonder he looked great. Meanwhile, Bryce Young got pressured 8 times last week against his Falcons defense. And I think you have to remember the Packers are dreadful against the run. Last year, 28th in yards per carry against the run. It feels like this. You mentioned Desmond Ridder not being very good. Their run blocking is insane. They are so good running the football. They're going to be a real handful for teams that can't stop the run, and I think that's a problem for the Packers.
Yeah, 2 straight road games to start the year. I haven't looked at that. Can you look at that, Mackenzie?
And just the idea that at the beginning of the season, the Falcons were a 9.5 win total. The Packers were 8.5. And now the Packers are favored on the road. It just doesn't make sense to me.
That is a concise way to say
8.5 and 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're saying that the Atlanta was perceived to be
one win
higher.
Yeah.
1 win higher, which is 2 points, right?
Yep.
So, and now all of a sudden, even if we only say, and I would make the case, remember, home field advantage is about the difference from your home to you being on the road. Green Bay being so good at home means that the away factor for them is significant.
And remember, we spoke about when they're away at Soldier Field or playing in Chicago, they're playing on grass. It's a surface they're really good at. Now they got to play on the turf.
In the dome.
Yeah,
They don't play
it's a
there
lot
every
different than playing in Lambeau.
Yeah. By the way, a lot of value here. If you start away, 49 winners, 49 losers, 3 pushes. But by the way, down 0.6 points a game, Faz. That's not nothing.
Well, this is a 1-point spread, so wouldn't the straight up number really apply instead of the spread number?
Yeah, but remember, amongst all those straight ups are a bunch of time. I mean, the average line is 2.5.
I like the minus 0.6 against the spread, but maybe I'm drawing it desperately for something.
I'm much rather that than plus
0.6,
the other way. And that's not from 2012. Okay. All right, so let's listen to the Hitman. He likes the under in this one. Let's see if he backs up my theories. Here is the Hitman.
Best bet, Green Bay, Atlanta, under 40.5. Atlanta might be the number 1 dead nuts under team in the league. Their offense looked like a 1970s offense last week, as Desmond Ridder threw at or behind the line of scrimmage more than double the league average. Both these teams are bottom 3 in pass rate over expectation. And Atlanta, we kind of figured that they might play conservatively on offense, but Green Bay's scoring output against a league worst Bears defense wasn't exactly representative of what this offense is at the moment either. The team's 2 most explosive weapons are questionable for this game, and last week, Jordan Love was an unsustainably 8 for 10 for 141 yards on 3rd and 4th down. Green Bay's owner even came out saying before the season that he knows this Packers team is going to have to win with defense early in the year. Green Bay has invested a ton of first-round picks into an underrated defense. Atlanta has spent a ton of money in free agency on an underrated defense, and it's 2 conservative offenses. We go under.
Now, unfortunately, on this one, released because we have people record, then it gets sent in, it's recorded in the morning. This one was 41.5. It's down to 40.5. 41 is a key number. So I would be careful. I wouldn't look over, but don't forget, obviously, the key numbers matter. They're key, I think it's fair to say. All right. I think that covers it.